Before we jump into the episode today, I want to share something with you from my heart. First of all, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I really can't tell you how much your support means to me. We've been doing the podcast now for almost 4 years. I can't even believe it. And I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you that listens, shares an episode with your friends, sends me a DM or a text message letting me know how an episode resonated with you or any aha moments. Seriously, I couldn't be more grateful to be able to create this podcast. It has been such a blessing in my life, and I love hearing the ways it's been able to provide value in yours as well. One thing you might not know is how much work it takes to be consistent with a podcast. In fact, did you know that the majority of podcasts don't make it past episode number 10? And we are well beyond that. And it's just a lot thinking of the episodes, recording them, editing them, managing the guests, making sure that everything runs smoothly and gets uploaded consistently and regularly. And so that's why I have created an amazing opportunity for you to support the podcast monetarily. And in exchange for that, you will get exclusive premium subscriber content. So for as little as $3 a month, you can become a premium subscriber of the podcast. And every month I will upload new voice-guided workouts and breathwork meditation audio for you. So that way you can work out with me, coaching you in your ears. You can also take a moment to reduce your stress and relax and come down and ground down with one of my breathwork audios. So if that is on your heart to support the podcast for as little as $3 a month to become a premium podcast subscriber, I can't tell you how much that means to me and the growth of this podcast. I appreciate you. If you're interested, click the link in the description, become a premium podcast subscriber, new content every month, and while supplies last, I'll send you an exclusive podcast coffee mug so you can have your self-love and sweat coffee every morning. I appreciate you. Now let's get into the show. Welcome to Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast, the place where you'll get inspired to live your life unapologetically, embrace your perfect imperfections, break down barriers, and do what sets your soul on fire. I'm your host, Lunden Souza. Hey friend, it's me, Lunden Souza, online lifestyle transformation coach. I help people all over the world just like you who know they are meant for more, get their mind right and their body tight, and go from crazy busy to crazy happy. And hey, if it's our first time meeting, welcome. So happy to have you. And if you've been with us for a while, it's so great that you're here too. I'm really excited to share this episode of the Self-Love and Sweat podcast with you. Hey friends, welcome back to Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast. I know that you can't see me here if you're listening to the podcast, but I feel like a hot ass mess today. Raise your hand if you feel like a hot ass mess. I feel like I need to wash my hair. I feel like I have a film of dirt on my body from hiking and being outside. I just feel like, all the things right now. And luckily through podcasts, you just hear. So that's great. But raise your hand if sometimes you feel like a hot ass mess. That's me today. And actually, basically by doing number one of what I want to share with you today, these 4 points to help you stay focused, fit, feeling good, having fun, all the things in summer. I feel like right now I'm actually doing number one. So we'll jump right into these because I really feel like, this is the season where everybody is doing something when it comes to like activities or travel, or their schedule's busy, or it's like wedding season, someone's birthday, like all the things. I feel like summer is when I always hear like, I'm not going to do the program because I'm going on this trip, or I'm going to be here with my family, or my kids are out of school or something like this. So I just feel like it is the time of year where it's even more important to lean into a lot of the habits and routines and stuff that we've done throughout the year, and to lean even more into coaching, in my opinion, even when things are super busy. But like, I get it. We have a lot of stuff going on in summer. And that's why I want to bring this episode to you today. I think it will be really helpful. And like I said, I'm already doing number one right now by recording this podcast, being the hot mess that I am, and kind of the timing and actually what I'm doing and waiting for before moving on to my next activity. So let's jump right into these 4 tips to help you stay fit, feeling focused, fueled up, having fun, and feeling good. What other F's can we throw in there? If you have any other F's you want to throw in that are conducive to what I was talking about, shoot them to me in the DMs. I always like to hear your aha moments and to continue the conversation about the podcast, beyond the podcast, in the DMs on Instagram. So hit me up, Life Like Lunden. Okay, so number 1, seize all micro opportunities. I think that any busy mom could tell you, and I work with a lot of moms, so I hear this a lot, is like, you realize, okay, once you have a kid and there's like these windows of opportunity when they're napping or like preoccupied doing something else or whatever, where you just feel like you can get so much done in a short amount of time. It's like, okay, I have 20 minutes, I have an hour here. So see summer as an opportunity, all seasons actually, to like seize all micro opportunities to get things done, to make progress, to make a step forward. So right now I was like, okay, I'm going to go on I'm going to go outside. I'm going to do some weights. I'm going to like, go run some errands, do some things. And I realized my phone wasn't charged. So I was like, okay, I'm going to plug it in, and then I'm going to do this podcast super quick. I already had it set up. I was going to do them later anyways. And I'll just do that now. So I'm going to seize this micro opportunity to get it done. Same thing with movement, right? So it's like, I have 20 minutes here. I have 10 minutes here. We know that we can get in a lot of great movement and a lot of great sweat in a short amount of time, right? If you've been following me even for a microsecond, you know that if you sweat with me on YouTube, if you've worked out with me on any of my workouts on Instagram, if you've done any of the voice guided workouts right here on the podcast, you know that they're short and sweaty. And like, anytime you have a micro opportunity to do something, I suggest you jump right in to get in some movement. So just think about, what other micro opportunities can I seize in order to, do even more of like, and make even more progress and do the thing even more in an area where I want to excel and where I want to show up. And even amongst a busy season like summer. And you guys know, maybe you don't know. Maybe this is your first podcast you've ever listened to from me, and that's no problem. And I love it. And I'm happy that you're here. But when it comes to self-talk, one of the words I don't personally use, I'm using it a lot now because I've been hearing it a lot, but I don't personally use, is busy. It's like, I say that I have a full and abundant schedule. Like, my schedule is very full today. I work with my clients to use words and change, some of those things there. And so, anyways, I'll leave it at that. You can decide if you're having a busy schedule or if you're having a full and abundant one, and one that you're going to figure out how to manage and seize all micro opportunities. And sometimes it feels like easier than others. And sometimes it feels really challenging, but hey, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It all makes a big impact. And so, seizing this opportunity to jump on this podcast, to share what I wanted to share, to be here and to, take 15, 20 minutes, whatever it's going to take to make this happen while my phone's charging, like, great way to seize a micro opportunity. And like, I'm going to celebrate that. And I want you to celebrate yours too. It doesn't have to be like giantly significant. That is giantly significant. Let's say it like that. It can be just like small, quick wins, moments where you're just taking action instead of making excuses, and celebrate it. Celebrate yourself. Okay. Number 2, remember, motion is lotion. I think that I heard this the first time. I worked in a physical therapy office for a little while when I first moved to Southern California back from Austria. I worked there for about 5 months. It was super fun. I met some great physical therapists. I learned a lot. It was just so great. The clients were amazing. And I heard the physical therapist say that one time. He's like, motion is lotion. And I was like, that's cool. I don't think he made it up. In fact, he told me he didn't make it up. But I was like, you're the first person I've heard say that. And I just really like it. And it's a reminder for me. And maybe if you're older than me, you're going to laugh at me. Or if you're younger than me, you might not get what I'm saying, but I feel like in my 30s, like everything's a little bit more crackly. Like my ankles and my knees and my hips, I feel kind of like the Tin Man on the Wizard of Oz. Sometimes my niece loves that movie and we'll watch it when I go home sometimes. And so sometimes I feel like I just like, need a little bit of oil. And I feel like that motion really is the lotion, and just continuing to move, continuing to walk, continuing to work out, continuing to incorporate movement in my life is just so, so, so important. And I can really feel the impact in a different way than I did when I was in my 20s. It was just kind of more like, it's just kind of, I feel like I'm a different species when you're in your 20s. It's like you're working out, doing all the things, going to school, not sleep and all that. And I just feel like now it's just really focusing on movement. And so in this category of motion is lotion, and the tip number 2 of really remembering to stay moving, to keep those joints lubricated, to keep on keeping on and keep moving, don't be stagnant, is walking and working out. And I mentioned those. And I think the most underestimated one is walking. And I feel like people either are like walking a lot or like working out. And we definitely need both. So walking and strength training. And then I didn't put this under here because we're kind of talking about motion, but rest is important too. It's like part of the soup. It's part of the system. It's not like an optional asterisk. Like if you feel like it and you have time, right? That's important too. But under the umbrella of motion is lotion, it's really walking and working out and being consistent with that over time and finding what works for you continuously, regularly, right? And so even during summer, it's like you might not be on a plan. You might not be, joining that 30-day challenge. You might not be like doing anything that's necessarily like systemized and like you signed up for and, you have all the ready, set, go. It's just like, it might just be, hey, okay, every day I'm going to aim for like 10,000 steps and I'm going to do like upper body weight stuff. And then I'm going to do some lower body weight stuff, like no equipment. I'm going to do, workouts with the chair here and there. So this is what I really like about fitness is that you can be creative with it. You can really have fun with your workouts. You can really do what you know, and it doesn't have to be so complicated. You don't have to do these like complex exercises. Like you guys know exercises, like give yourself some credit. Push-ups, squats, lunges, planks, maybe chair dips, bicep curl, like at least 4 exercises that you could put in a circuit and just put together and, do 12 repetitions of each and do 3 rounds or whatever. Like you can put together a workout probably better than you give yourself credit for. So just keep moving. And I'll say on top of that, because I'm sharing a lot of my workouts more frequently than normal. In fact, I haven't really shared a ton of workouts really on Instagram lately, but I'm going to be sharing more and more and more of those. So if you feel like, no, Lunden, I need workouts, I need you to tell me what to do, you have that option. So I'm going to share those on Instagram. And then if you're on my newsletter list, I'm going to email you the Monday after. So I always send a newsletter if you're on my list every Monday. It's my Mind, Body, Love newsletter. And I send that out on Mondays. So on Monday, when you get that newsletter, if you're on the list, you're going to have the recap of the week before of what I posted on Instagram. And you're going to have all the written workouts with the repetitions, with the weights that you use, with the, like how you do the workout, all those types of things, form cues, things to think about when you're moving. So if you need that support, I got you. I'm going to do that for you for free throughout summer. I think until like the end of July is when I looked at my schedule and what I want to do. And then if you're still on board, there'll be something fun for us to do together at the end of July. Cool. So motion is lotion. That's number 2, making sure you're walking and working out. Okay. This is so, so important. Sometimes I've just been telling myself lately, I'm just like, just walk. Like literally, Lunden, just walk. Like sometimes I feel like either in between tasks or things I need to do, maybe there's some distracted time and I feel like, okay, I have 20 minutes, and that can easily be lost in like scrolling on my phone or doing something like that. I just tell myself, just walk. I took yesterday the rest of my coffee. I just put it in a to-go cup and just went for a walk outside for like 20 minutes. I can walk up this hill up and down in 22 minutes. That's right by my house where I stay in Orange County. And it's like perfect. It's just walk. Lunden, just walk. It's not like climbing, telling you to climb Mount Everest or do an hour and a half long strength training. It's just like get outside and walk and get outside and get moving. That's been so helpful to clear my mind, help me stay focused. The sun shines out. It's super great. You get the natural light in your eyes during daylight, just all these different benefits from just getting outside and just being able to just walk. So that's a little mantra, a little saying I tell myself. Number three of my 4 tips to help you stay feeling good, focused, fit, having fun in summer, is hydration. And this might be a duh one, but I just feel like I was having a conversation with my friend Sarah where I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but I just feel like for the life of me, I can't stay hydrated. Like my pee is bright yellow every time I go pee. I just know that I'm not hydrated. I can feel it. I feel like I'm drinking a lot of water. Maybe I'm not, maybe I am. So anyways, it's just one of those foundational keys that for me, I always have to come back to. It's like I always have to check myself in that area because it's like, it's just so important, yet something that just goes so under the radar for me. And I'm like, how come I don't feel super, super thirsty? In theory, I should be parched right now, you know? So I just have to remind myself to continue to stay hydrated. And I really like to mix in, stuff into my water to continue to help me stay hydrated and have it taste good. So what I love to add in sometimes is like essential oils, like lemon or even fresh fruit. I like to add my SNAP supplements, like the beets or the collagen greens to my water. And I'll just make like a big container of water and just add like a half a scoop of the beets and a full scoop of the collagen greens. You can find them on my website on lifelikelunden.com/supplements, and you can get them for 10% off right there. And yeah, I like to add the beets and the greens in there to make my water taste a little bit better. And it's just like, I just feel like this was one of them where it's like, I just knew in these tips when I was preparing for this episode that I couldn't not include it. And it's also like, always has to be included because I feel like it's the one that I'm always just like, Lunden, hydrate, reminding yourself to hydrate. And I think that a lot of us can feel that way at times. So that's super important. Okay. That's number 3. I guess I won't. I guess I won't. I guess I will. When it comes to hydration, it's like, what works for you? Like, do you have the water bottle that you take with you everywhere? Do you have the one with the marks on it that tells you by which time you should be drinking it? I'll be real with you. The struggle for me with hydration is that I really, from living in Europe, don't like drinking water that is cold. Usually you drink water that's like room temperature, at least where I lived in Europe and in Austria, like we mainly did. And so now I just feel like every time I get water somewhere, it's like in someone's fridge or like out of the fridge, and it's just always so cold and I just don't feel, and of course, all you do is fill it up and let it wait, or like put a little bit of hot water and cold, like, there's so many options. But anyways, that's what I find myself commonly getting distracted by, or the excuse I commonly find myself tripped up in, where I'm like, oh, the water's so cold. Isn't that weird? Anyways, that's just me. Okay. Number 4. Number 4 is like, know what hat you need. And sometimes you need like the tough love hat for yourself. It's like, remind yourself during busy seasons like summer, when your schedule's full, when your schedule's abundant, you've done all the work, to rearrange the words. You're not saying busy, you're saying full and abundant. You know that, life is going to be challenging, and there's going to be weekends like my weekend this coming up where it's like my best friend's birthday and a wedding and a lot of stuff going on. Even during those seasons, know what hat you need. So do you need to kick your own butt? Do you need to light the fire under your own ass? And do you need to put that hat on that's like, I posted on Instagram yesterday, which would have been June 6th. So if you're going back to my reels, you can find like a workout video that I did on June 6th with like some motivational stuff to tell like, you can see all the exercises, and then the text is like 4 things to tell yourself when you are, not motivated to work out or you don't feel like working out. And one of the things I said to myself was like, fucking do it, Lunden. Like, kill your bullshit and just go after it. Right. I put like the little asterisks on the text on Instagram, but I don't know how to say it with the asterisk on podcast. So you're going to hear me say it. It's just like, cut the shit. Sometimes it's just like, you have to get out of your own way. You have to be like, ain't nobody with your ass, Lunden. Like, stop, relax. No, fuck no, stop it. There has to be moments where how to put that trainer, that coach hat on yourself for yourself. Right? In the way that you need to be supported. It's like, yeah, it's great to have coaches. It's great to have accountability buddies and people that are there for you. And it's also great to know what hat you need when it's time to just be like, ain't nobody, just do it. Go after the feeling. You know how great you're going to feel afterwards. You know how awesome you're going to feel after you do the workout, after you go for a walk, after you make that healthy meal instead of choosing something greasy. Like, just sometimes, or, strengthen the muscle
in yourself to be like, no, like I have awareness now and I'm like nipping it in the butt, put the kibosh on it. I shouldn't say the lady I live with, one of my really close friends who I also live with. She's so sweet. She'll say, put the kibosh on it. And so sometimes you need to put the kibosh on it, on yourself. Know what hat you need sometimes, right? So especially during busy, abundant, full seasons, on the days where you even have said and changed your words, it's still busy and full and abundant, and you need to know what hat you need. And sometimes you have to, especially when you're like grown up and it's like no one's like, they're not in trouble if you don't, like you might be in trouble down the road and like that sense of the word, but it's like you're not like in trouble, or there's nothing like, there's not really repercussions immediately in terms of like a reward system, really, like after you do your workout and do your thing and, get sweaty and whatever. It's like, you have to be able sometimes to just be like, no, to me, for me, and I'm holding me accountable and I'm going to do it. And sometimes I don't feel like it, but I know what hat I need and I'm going to push my limits. So, remember that. So those are the 4 tips to help you have a fit, fun, focused, feel good summer. Seize all micro opportunities, figure out how to maximize what you can get done, and just stay kind of really laser focused on maximizing your time. Number 2, remember that motion is lotion. And so staying fit and active comes with being fit and active. So walking, working out, and also prioritizing rest. 3, hydration, staying super hydrated, adding in things to make it taste better if you need it to be a certain temperature like me, just making sure that you have what you need and not making excuses as to why you don't have it. And then number 4, know what hat you need. Sometimes you have to put on the no bullshit hat and just like drop the excuses hat with your own self, and being able to respect your goals and yourself enough to say like, hey, yeah, like listen to me, listen to me, get it together. It's go time. Yeah, it's a busy season and I'm able to do the things, even with seizing the micro opportunities to get what I need to get done. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day wherever you're listening to this podcast. You're amazing, and have a beautiful summer, friends.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast. Hey, do me a favor. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, give us a review. This really helps a lot. And share this with a friend. I'm only one person, and with your help, we can really spread the message of self-love and sweat and change more lives all around the world. I'm Lunden Souza, reminding you that you deserve a life full of passion, presence, and purpose, fueled by self-love and sweat. This podcast is a Hit Spot Austria production.